St. Mary Parish Council's second regular meeting, December 17th, 2025, 6 p.m. in the Parish Council Meeting Room, 5th floor Courthouse, Franklin, Louisiana. Our invocation, I'll ask Reverend Matthews to do that for us tonight since Dr. Ray's not here at this minute. And the Pledge of Allegiance will be by our Honorable Dean Adams. Please stand.
Everyone, please bow your heads and close your eyes in reverence to God. Dear God, our Father, we thank you as always for this opportunity to come together in fellowship in our community with those, our citizens, as well as our elected and public officials that you've appointed for such a time as this. We realize, dear God, that there is no government except that which you have established according to your word. And we thank you for calling us to service for such a time as this in whatever capacity that we serve. We ask that you would help us, that you would give us wisdom, that you would give us insight and understanding, that you would teach us patience, that we would learn to reason with one another. Help us to govern the matters of this parish, this state, and this country, and even this world in a way that will bring honor and glory to your name. We ask, that God, that you would have mercy upon us and forgive us for the errors of our ways, for your word says that all have sinned and come short of your glory. And we realize that we can do nothing apart from you. We ask that you would impart divine wisdom in this meeting tonight. We yield ourselves and submit ourselves under your authority, that you would have your way in us and through us, that you would continue, dear God, to bring the increase that we stand in need of, to meet the needs of this parish, to serve your people with diligence, with faithfulness, and with consistency. We bless you, dear God, because of who you are and for all that you do. For you never sleep, nor do you slumber. We thank you, we praise you, and above all, we lift you up. In the mighty, the miraculous, and majestic name of Jesus, this is our prayer. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you.
Roll call, Mrs. Morgan.
Yes, ma'am. Reverend Matthews?
Present.
Mr. Ina?
Here.
Mr. Olander?
present.
Mr. Hill? He's absent. Mr. Rolfe?
Present.
Mr. Hebert? Mr. Davis?
Present.
Mr. Duhon?
Present.
Mr. Adams?
Present.
Dr. Rink? She's absent. And Mrs. Hidalgo?
Present.
You have a quorum present, ma'am.
Thank you. Item 5, reading of the minutes of the previous meeting. 5A, first regular meeting, December 10th, 2025.
Madam Chair, I move that we dispense with the reading and accept as written.
I have a motion by Mr. Olander, second by Mr. Hebert. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, public comment. We don't have any tonight, but I'd like to take this time to publicly apologize for last meeting's outburst to all my colleagues sitting on this panel. And at this time, I would like to wish everybody in St. Mary Parish Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, to whatever we celebrate. And from our chambers to everyone's home, you know, we want to extend that out to everybody.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well said.
At this time, item 7, report from Mr. Sam Jones, the parish president.
Madam, I would also like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It's been a long year. We all worked really hard. I don't really have anything else to say other than that I reserve the right, if I'm asked for anything else, to respond.
Okay, items 8, report from personnel, Mr. Paul Gouverneau, our CAO.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You've all received my report. It's pretty much informational. And if you have any questions, I'll entertain those at this time.
I got one question. Our juveniles, where do we send our juveniles to?
Everywhere.
It depends where they can find a bed. A lot of times it's Terrebonne, sometimes there's one in Lafayette. It just depends where the judge sends them. It depends if it comes from city court or if it comes from our court.
Are they grouped in with the males and females?
No,
or
they're
is that-
separate, no.
That's totally separate, so we don't get no report on juvenile.
We have very few, I mean, it's very, they try not to send juveniles to juvenile detention. Occasionally, we do get them, but you see how much the cost per day is? For a juvenile, it's like $260 a day
Yeah,
or something like
okay,
that.
that's right.
But we get very few, and the judges know that. It's an extreme circumstance when they send a juvenile to a facility, but we do occasionally get them.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Madam Chair?
Okay, Mr. Reverend Matthews.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening to everyone. I was just kind of waiting to see if we would get an update on the project that we asked about in Verdunville on last week, and seeing that some of those same folks from that community are here tonight, I believe that it's prudent that we would provide just an update on the information that has been received thus far. I did share information with the council members and with the members of the administration prior to tonight's meeting, just based upon my own individual research about how and where the status of that project is and how it might be, I guess, kind of brought back online. As of today, I have not gotten any further information, but I do believe that the information I shared with the council and administration prior to tonight is vital. And I would like the citizens of Verdunville and that entire community to know that we are working to try to reignite or reactivate that project if it's possible. I don't have a no answer yet, but also don't have a yes as to whether or not that is possible. There was a deadline that was missed inadvertently. We were supposed to submit a revision to the environmental review that was conducted on that project, and as has been explained to me by our consultant team, because the project is considered under the new regulations of the Community Development Block Grant Program, it's being designated as a new construction project. Although it's an existing road, we are planning to widen the road by adding shoulders to each side. So the forms that were sent in were of the sort that it would be respective of a reconstruction project, but based on us adding shoulders to the road, it would be considered new construction. So that required a different form, a different environmental form be submitted. Mr. Furman's office kind of went back and forth as he explained it to me personally with the authorities at the CDBG office because they wanted very tedious revisions to that form. And once the final revision was submitted, I guess it was probably on July 2nd or 3rd from what he said. It was a couple days after the deadline. The deadline was July 1st. We missed that deadline because Mr. Furman's office does not receive that correspondence directly. It comes to the parish government, and he has to wait for information to be shared with his office. And so he was not aware, his staff was not aware that the deadline was set for July 1st, as he explained it to me, and so the deadline was missed. Since that time, I've spoken with Senator Robert Allen's office, and I've brought them up to speed on what's happening. His staff did inform me that they would be reaching out to our parish government to get relative information to use as a reference when they begin the dialogue with the CDBG office and whoever the proper authorities are to try to request that decision be overturned and that they allow us to reactivate that project, which is what we're hoping will happen. So I would like to consider that the project is not completely dead at this time. That was my interpretation. Because there have been instances in other projects where some leniency has been granted. But that's where we are as of today. Just a little bit of background. That's a project that was funded by CDBG sometime in the previous term. My mind doesn't recall the exact date, but it was somewhere between the transition of Mr. Lagrange and John Paul Bork. I spoke with Mr. Bork this weekend just to get his insight as to what he recalls. And he did seem to believe that the project was moving along fine until those little missteps. But does also believe that it's possible that that decision could be overturned based upon his experiences with similar decisions. So a community development block grant program funded sometime in maybe 2020 or 19 or something like that. Right now, we just don't know what the fate is. That's as much information as I was able to obtain on my own. If the chair lady would allow it.
Yes, you can ask the question. Can you come to the podium, please? State your name again, Mr.
My name is Elmitra J. Franklin, and I live at 543 Verdun Lane, which is just adjacent to the area where that project was started. And I believe, if memory serves me correctly, Reverend Matthews, it may have been you asked at the first of last year, asked the question about the project.
For an update,
And,
yes,
yes, sir, an update for the project. That was last year. And we were told that they had to do some other work, some other things was going on, but that the project was still on the table. If that happened, if they missed the date or whatever, because things happen in the business world, and we certainly do understand that as residents. The residents of that area, we were all under the impression that that project was going to still be on the table. If that happened, we should have been told something before the other night when we came here and they said the project was dead and had missed something or would misstep or whatever the case may be. That's not acceptable because everybody on that back street, and that's what we call it, the back street, and my street, we are all taxpayers, we're homeowners, and I just thought that it was not a good look, a good fit, the way that thing went down, and we didn't know anything until we came here. And it was just like a matter of fact that something happened and the project is not gonna happen. That's not the way to treat people. And Sam, you know better than me. We should have been told something.
Well, I wasn't there when they allocated that.
But you was here when they asked that question about the project, was the project still on the table? You was here, Paul, that night, and they said, yes, the project was still on the table.
And
What
it-
I'm saying
it's
is
still-
things happen. Things happen, and if that was gonna be the case, then it wouldn't be no more than right to tell us, well, look, something happened, we had a misstep, and something happened in Baton Rouge, and we're not gonna be able to do the project, but we're gonna work and try to restore the money, as you're saying here this afternoon.
It's still on the table. It needs to go back from the beginning, and they're moving their way toward it. I've had a number of people call me, a number of people that I talked to, and we're trying to get it done as soon as we can. But when you start all over again, it just takes a little more time.
We've been waiting a while. There were several projects before ours, and we just was under the impression that once they finished, I think they was doing drainage or sewage or something was of that sort. But nevertheless, we were under the impression that once that was complete, then our project would start up in the Verdunville area. And I talked to several of the residents, and I told them that Mr. Bogan and I, who are with MACO, our community organization, we would come and represent tonight and try to get a handle on where we were with the project. So from what I'm hearing, the project is still on the table. We just have to wait until you all sort through and possibly get the funds again.
And it's like Mr. Matthews said, they're adding things, they're adding the sides and all that kind of stuff, which changes and makes it a little bit longer to get it done. But when it's done, it's going to be nice.
Thank you. Thank you for that information.
Madam Chair, can I add something? Yeah, thank you, Councilman Reverend Matthews, for your update. And I have been in touch with the state regarding this project. It was approved originally, I want to say back in 2023 when I went through the files to look and see. And we do hire a consultant to take care of all those things for us. And the consultant gets, I mean, I've got letters that they were carbon copied on everything. And, you know, they don't usually wait to get it from us. They get the letters direct. And the state didn't just willy-nilly say, no, this is off the table. They tried for a long time to get that environmental review. And it was turned in a couple days late, and they were assessing penalties, administrative penalties, based on the days it took for that environmental review to come through. And the total project, I think, is around $800,000 for the whole project. But once the penalties got towards the amount of the contingency of the project, then the state looks at it as being not feasible anymore. So I have been in touch with the state. I let Sam know right away, and he contacted Senator Alland's office. I've been in touch with Senator Alland's office. So we are working hard to try to get that, get it reinstated for us to be able to proceed with it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, at this time, if it's okay with the council, we're gonna do for resolution, item 13A, we're gonna move it up to this time, a resolution to respect to the memory of Mr. Pellerin.
I so move.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Adams.
Seconded by the council.
Second by the council. Discussion?
I can
All
go
in
ahead.
favor? We need a,
No.
I'm sorry. I think he was.
Yeah, I was gonna read it into
Okay,
the
go
record
ahead.
before we did a roll
Sorry,
call.
I'm going ahead.
Okay, I want to do the resolution of respect. Whereas the Lord Almighty in his infinite mercy and goodness has seen fit to remove from our midst Mr. Althamus Edwin Pellerin Jr., father of the Assistant Clerk of the Council, Mrs. Rashonda Bourgeois. And whereas Mr. Pellerin was a beloved husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, and was cherished by his entire family. Whereas Mr. Pellerin can finally be remembered working on his family farm, working at Brawler Burger, was a printer at the Banner Tribune, was produce manager at A&P Grocery Store, Leday's Supermarket, Piggly Wiggly, ShopRite Food Store, was also store manager, Winn-Dixie, and Super One Foods. And whereas Mr. Pellerin was a man of many talents, he was a generous man who believed in faith, family, and community, worked side by side with his father and grandfather to build Immaculate Conception Catholic Church in Verdunville, and was continued to help maintain the church and its grounds as long as his health allowed. And whereas Mr. Pellerin loved watching Western movies and could always be found whistling and singing church hymns and classic country songs. Whereas Mr. Pellerin was gifted with an amazing green thumb and was widely known for growing and sharing his okra, fruit trees, plants, and flowers. And whereas the members of the St. Mary Parish Council wish to acknowledge publicly their sorrow and sympathy to the family of Mr. Pellerin. And whereas the St. Mary Parish Council hopes that his family will find comfort in the thought that their grief and sorrow are shared by their friends. Now therefore be it resolved by the St. Mary Parish Council through the unanimous adoption of this resolution that they solemnly deliberate and sincere condolences, sympathy, and understanding during this time of grief. Adopted and approved by the St. Mary Parish Council in regular session convened on the 17th day of December 2025. I'd like to say just a couple of words. Rashawn, I didn't know your dad personally, but reading this, it seems to me that he was a really hard-working man from what I'm reading here, and he was a godly man. That was a good thing he done with the Catholic Church. And to see that he has a lot of his family members here, that speaks volume of the type of man he was. And I just want to give out my condolences. I really feel sorry for your loss. Thank you.
Shonda, you want to recognize your brothers? Sorry for y'all loss, guys.
Beautiful family. I have to say, Mr. Joshua looks very familiar. Were you a candidate in a political election?
2016, ran for U.S. Senate.
I thought so.
We're gonna do a roll call vote, and then we'll get a picture.
Okay, this is on item 13A. Reverend Matthews.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Inum.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Olander.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hill, he's absent. Mr. Roth.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Abear.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Duhon.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Rink.
President, yes, ma'am.
And Mrs. Hidalgo.
Yes, ma'am.
We have 10 yeas and 1 absence, and the resolution carries.
You have it.
Can't see me, I can't see you. Oh, let me see Hendricks. Yeah, thank you. 1, 2, 3. Take a couple. 8 yellow. A resolution for 13B, we're gonna table that one until we get Mr. Hayes's family next, after the first of the year.
I'll
Motion?
move.
Okay, move, Mr. Abear.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. All right, so we're gonna go to item 9, report of council meetings. Item 9A, public meeting report, December 10th, 2025, at 5:45. And B is public hearing, December 10th, 2025, 5:50 PM.
Madam Chair, I move we adopt.
Have a motion by Mr. Adams, second by Dr. Rink. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, report of meetings other than council meetings. Reverend Matthews?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to acknowledge a group that attended the West St. Mary Civic Center on this week. Actually, on yesterday, there was, I believe it's called Communities United Incorporated, a nonprofit group, came to offer support and assistance to residents of our parish, particularly the west end of the parish, at our civic center for, I guess, access to disaster recovery grants is what I understood. I was notified of that by the barrage of phone calls that I received from constituents throughout District 1 for 2 reasons. One, because they didn't see me present and wanted to know why I was not there to answer their questions, and certainly because they were unfamiliar with the people that were there. Some people expressed hesitancy and concern about releasing their private information. I think there was a couple of other people from the community there. I think representatives of St. Mary Community Action were present. And although I believe the effort was successful in reaching probably close to about 400 people from as far as Franklin and other areas up to St. Peter Street in Jeanerette, to add their names to a list that would be vetted to determine whether or not they're eligible to receive these disaster recovery grant funds, which, as I understand it at present, are
relative to one of the last two hurricanes that we might have experienced in St. Mary Parish. I did have an opportunity at the end of the day, at the end of my work day, to stop by the Civic Center on my way home, and a young lady by the name of Marcel, who worked with that group, and then Andrea, I forget the Johnson, who I think is a native or resident of somewhere in Texas, from what she expressed to me, and had a chance just to exchange a dialogue with them and learn a little bit more about their efforts in the program. And she did express an apology for not reaching out to the council directly to express that their interest in coming to St. Mary Parish to do this. And I just shared with her that it would be helpful if our efforts are more coordinated, primarily because the people in these communities are very vulnerable. They need the help desperately. And the last thing we want is for misnomers and misconceptions and misinformation to be distributed throughout our communities, throughout our neighborhoods, and for people to get false expectations of things that they probably won't even qualify for. And I'm not at liberty to say whether or not they're qualified. I can make all kind of presumptions, but I don't even know enough about the program and the merits of it to be able to answer some of their questions. And so through our dialogue, I expressed to her that it would be more advantageous because they are planning to do this for the next several weeks, as I understand it, throughout our parish. It would be more advantageous if they would send information to our clerk and to our chairman so that it's properly distributed at least among this elected body, so that as people are arriving in our communities and our neighborhoods where people are more familiar with their local elected representatives, they'll probably be more comfortable with sharing their information and determining whether or not they're eligible for these potential benefits. But all in all, again, I think it was a great outreach effort. I think it was, and I reached out to our friends at South Central Planning and shared the information with them and asked if they were familiar with it. And the response and the feedback I got was, as far as they could tell, the information does appear to be legitimate. And, there again, that's another resource that is at our disposal in St. Mary Parish that I think with more and better coordinated efforts, we could make a greater impact, if that is our true desire. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Clerk, I talked to the lady. She called, and we had about an hour phone call, and I invited her to come in and to not only go there, but to go to a couple other places in the parish. And they're moving on from last year's hurricane and the one before. So we'll see what they do and what they come up with, go from there.
Okay, item 11, introduction of ordinance.
11A for introduction, an ordinance of the St. Mary Parish Council condemning the improvements consisting of the Plantation Inn Hotel situated at 815 Highway 90, parcel ID number 298428104.00 and 298428100.00 as a result of same being in a dilapidated and dangerous condition which endangers the public welfare, and ordering the demolition and removal of said improvements by the owner thereof within 60 days from the effective date of this ordinance. What is your wishes?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move forward on this with a question for our attorney. Make sure all our paperwork's in order on it.
That'll be with planning and zoning, but
Okay.
if Miss Mandy or Mr. Paul or anyone has any issues, I'll be sure to help them out.
Okay.
So you're so moving, Mr.
Yes.
Rolfe? Thank you. So moved by Mr. Rolfe. Okay, thank you. No. Yes, we're going to deviate from the agenda to include the old business for action before we adopt the ordinance, okay, y'all? If everyone's okay with that. So old business under 14A is referred from the Advisory Budget Finance Meeting, November 12th, 2025 in St. Mary. St. Mary Community Action Agency has submitted their pre-application requesting funds for the program year 2026. Funding request 69.5, transportation funds 45.5, and elderly nutrition for 24 $100,000. Now, this did state the 2026 budget. Y'all did take care of that at the last meeting. So unless you want to speak about it now.
Yes, ma'am. So the action that was taken on last week was relative to the 2026 proposed budget. So was there any reference to the 2025 allocation in that Budget Finance Committee meeting?
So you may proceed if you would like to discuss anything for the 2025 budget.
Yes, ma'am. So, there were a couple of Budget Finance Committee meetings held this year. And one in particular, I believe might have been back in September, I'm in July or August, where we had a detailed discussion, or maybe it was earlier in the year, a detailed discussion about the 25% cuts that were made to certain programs. And at one point, I remember the representatives from St. Mary Community Action coming forward and asking about possibly restoring that 25% at some future date. And it was at that point that the response from the administration was that we would revisit it in December of 2025. And so I've gotten a couple of calls about that, and they're here tonight, and they may want to proceed with that inquiry as to whether or not that 25% that was cut in 2025's budget would be reconsidered. So this is the time to determine that.
Yes, my name is Jeffrey Beverly with St. Mary Community Action Agency, the housing director. Yes, we did have that conversation back in the early part of the year, and it said that it was going to be revisited. Again, the transportation program is just getting to be extremely hard to operate. We did over 2,900 trips, and 80% of those trips was dialysis patients. We are now bringing residents from St. Mary Parish to Houma and New Iberia because the need is so significant. We just get calls all the time. And when we take this cut, right now the program is costing us right at $225,000 to operate. We get half of that cost from the Department of Transportation and Development. The other half we have to come up with. The Parish Council had been, in the previous years, providing us with $45,500, and the other right at $80,000 we have to come up with. And with when COVID came, a lot of people didn't want to get into vehicles. I guess we are called crowded. And so we have to make a little bit more trips in order to accommodate people also. So that became a problem. Fuel became a problem. And it has been an increasing part of the expenditures for us to operate. And so we would appreciate it if you would definitely reconsider trying to restore that, what we asked, or what you said you may look back at this time.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
We had a conversation about this last week, didn't we? Last meeting.
This was 26.
We added
budget.
this in the what?
The 26 budget.
26 budget.
Yeah, we're talking about the 25 one now, where we've already operated under those expenditures. And we said that we're going to come back and revisit it in December if things looked up. And so that's where we're at right now.
Mr. Matthews added it to our budget, that we consider trying to raise it back to what it was in the past.
Oh, for the 25 also? Okay.
Is that accurate, Madam Clerk? If we take action on that, Madam Clerk?
That would be a question for Paul, whether or not they'd have the funds to do 25, correct?
Well,
Oh, I didn't, you asked me for this year too?
at last,
25,
at
that's
the
what we're
last
talking
meeting,
about.
the last meeting, y'all passed to increase it.
For the
I
26?
don't think we're gonna be able to pay the increased amount at the beginning. I don't know what the year's gonna hold. I can tell you that at this point this year, we are worse off cash-wise than we were last year because we track it like that. But we did put the full funding in the budget because that's what the council passed. We didn't address the 25. Now, tonight, we're talking about the amendments to the 25 budget, and that increase is not included in these amendments, in the amendments and the amendments to the amendment.
So all the boards that got cut, the 25%, none of them's gonna see none of that revenue.
No. Well, I mean, the 25 budget was at the 25% level being cut, so that hasn't increased.
Yeah, correct, but it was kind of like the promise was, hey, come the end of the year,
We'll try, and we
We
were
ought to
able
be
to,
able to
end of last
reinstate
year,
that.
the end of last year, we were able to give a little bit more money out. We are not able to do that this year.
And the
Dinah?
reason,
So, Paul, is that, you're talking about in general for all of the programs? Or, because I think we had a conversation that some programs have a little different level of need or level of merit that would be worthy of consideration, if I'm not mistaken, in finance. So is there, I don't know about funding all of them at a certain level, but I think there may be some that have, you know, because we're talking about, I mean,
Well, one of-
2,900 trips for dialysis. and
Yeah,
things
one of
like
the things that we're, we consider and we prioritize is now dialysis because we have cut back so far. And 80% of our transportation now is dialysis, and we're talking life and death. So I don't know, I guess we just between a rock and a hard place. But again, we're trying to keep the transportation program afloat. But that match is kind of tough when you're talking about 125,000 that you just have to come up with. And we are getting the 45.5 from your, well, we're being restored that we had the 15% cut. But it's getting tough, and we really don't want to shut that program down because it is really needed. The dialysis patients are not going down, it's increasing.
the dialysis that you go to is the one in Franklin, or you go to other?
We go to all of them in St. Mary Parish, and continue to try to do those priority transportations to Houma and New Iberia also.
Mr. Beverly,
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, if I may, did you reach out to the other municipalities to try and pick up that extra 25%? I mean, I understand what you're saying, but from what, Paul is saying, we're doing all that we can. So my suggestion is, can we go to the other municipalities? And, I mean, we're talking about between all the municipalities, they should be able to cover the 25%, I would think.
Well, we're willing to do whatever it takes to get the match, including Medicaid transportation, and we've been partnering. And in fact, we just tried to collaborate with Smile on something that they're looking at for getting information on just trying to keep all of these transportation programs operating. This is also the deal. There's for-profit people that come in. They take our citizens to the doctors. They'll leave them because they have no commitment to them, and then they're calling, and we're going to answer. We're going to answer until we shut the doors, and it's just a matter of letting you know. We want to let y'all know that the information is. We want to keep this program going because there is a serious need for dialysis, just dialysis, but we do other transportation services besides that. But again, we're willing to do everything that we have to do to, and reaching out to the other municipalities is not something that's off the table. We're just
Yeah.
going to do what we have to do.
Well, it's
The city of Franklin operates this program. They do the fiscal side of it for us, and our CFO handles all of the accounts payables for the program. But again, we're trying to do everything that we can to keep this program afloat. But we want you to know that the need is there, and we're talking life and death now.
But it's, when you're talking about 5 municipalities, I mean, we're talking 3,000-4,000 each. It seems to me,
No,
Go-
not really.
go-
We're talking, if you're talking 5, we need another 80,000.
yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
talking about to pick up what we usually give y'all.
Oh, just
Yeah,
what y'all,
yeah, the 25% that we usually give, I'm just
Yes,
suggesting to
but
maybe
I'm-
go to the municipalities and try to get that 25% so
I-
that y'all, at least y'all have y'all 69.
Yeah, the 45.5, but I just want to make sure that we all on the same idea of what's going on here. When I'm talking about the 45.5, that's just to restore what we had before. But I want the council to know that this program is costing over $220,000, and we've minimized it. We only get the 112 from the state, and the other 112 we have to come up with. So when you do the 45.5, we're still talking about another 80,000 that we have to come up with some kind of way. We do it with Medicaid, trying to get matched in that, but right now it's coming out of our general fund, and some agencies are just going into deficit.
Like ours.
So we I just want to make sure the 45.5 is not even, it's not even coming close to covering what we need.
That's what my question was to you, sir, is Medicare, Medicaid.
Medicaid. We try to do everything to come up with that match.
I'm
Yeah.
fixing to be 65, so I'm going through the system now.
Yes.
And sitting down, getting educated by someone on what the best plan for me to take. And they mentioned about transportation. One
Yes.
of the insurance companies are pay for transportation.
That's right.
A minimal amount.
They will pay for,
They pay a
yeah.
portion.
And so with that happening, and what we're running into is a lot of, for whatever the reason is, for dialysis patients, Medicaid don't cover it. They won't do the transportation side of it. They'll do other costs, but they won't do the transportation side. So again, what we're trying to make sure that you understand is even the 45.5 is not even coming close. And when we start losing that, we just want to make sure that everybody's on the table that understands that it's not even coming close to what we need.
Oh, what will be the remainder of the balance that we're talking about for 25? We already talked about 26, but there was
I think it was 15.
I think it was between that and the feeding, I think it was 17,000.
Yeah, somewhere around that cost, 15 to 17. Critical. And we're not talking about the other transportation.
Madam Chair, do you think it would help if there was a resolution from this council encouraging the municipalities to maybe chip in and support? Would
Absolutely.
that be helpful?
Absolutely.
Is that something we could do?
Absolutely.
A resolution of support?
The only public transportation programs that's operating up to par, there's a sales tax that goes in, and that's the only ones that's operating.
Right. And
above
there's
board.
only a few parishes in our state
Just
that
a
were
few.
fortunate enough to convince their citizenry, their electorate,
How important
to
it is.
pass that
Yes,
tax.
indeed.
But
So-
those are the programs that are thriving
Yes.
around the state of Louisiana. And you're absolutely right. And we made mention of this a little bit during our Budget and Finance Committee meeting, that the governor's office has gotten on board and is really, really supporting the education and awareness of this initiative, and even putting pressure. I had a phone conference yesterday I hadn't told y'all about yet with the governor's office again, and they're applying pressure to DOTD to reformat or I guess reroute some of those dollars to better organize and support our operating costs. So, there's still efforts at the state level to try to make this more affordable and to close our deficits in each locale. But it's still going to require some local support because it's not going to take care of all of it.
and the need for public transportation of the sort that you're describing is not getting less. It's not getting shorter. It's increasing because more and more people are falling victim to these budget crises. And the money's just not there. And it's a matter of life and death. It's a lifeline to people getting to medical appointments. Some people rely upon these transportation services to get to work, just to continue to maintain a minimal lifestyle. So listen,
And if
you're
I
preaching
might
to the
add,
pulpit.
not
I know.
only Are those persons going like dialysis, when we take people to get their
Doctor.
chemotherapy?
Chemo, yes.
They used to have a center in Morgan City, and we take people
Right.
there, but some of those centers have closed down, and people have to go to Liberia, some of them to Lafayette.
Correct.
And Homer to get those services. Those people need those services to keep them living.
Correct.
And that's a big part of what we're supposed to do. And the other part of that is that those dollars that you give us and that we get for transportation turn right back on around in St. Mary Parish. Those people go to the gas station, they pay the light bills, they pay rent, we pay salaries to the drivers.
Right.
We get maintenance when our vehicles break, we take it to local mechanics to work on it. Those dollars are turning back around in our community, and transportation, like Reverend Matthews said, it's not going away. We're going to be needing more and more. The Vermilion Parish police jury have given us allocation, and I'm not sure about the exact amount that they give us, but every year they keep that. They say they'll cut something else before they'll cut transportation because they're rural too, and they know how much the people need transportation. I understand what Mr. Orlando is saying about the municipalities, but meanwhile, we have to work with what we have.
Yes, ma'am.
And we just need to work as hard as we can to make sure that the people who need us the most, that we're able to get those services. Maybe somewhere along the road, and with a resolution from you, the municipalities would consider. But meanwhile, you got people who will not come up here who need that service to stay living.
Yes, ma'am.
They are, stay alive.
I ask you one more question. The impact that's going on in Washington, where they're cutting cutting people's money, is that impacting us too?
All of our programs, but FTA, they have not significantly cut FTA, which in reality funds DOTD, Louisiana DOTD. But again, they're not going over the 50% at no levels. They used to be at 80%. Even when we purchase a vehicle, we have to pay 25% of the vehicle, and those are skyrocketing.
And the vehicles are very poorly manufactured.
Yes, we have.
So the maintenance cost is astronomical.
Yes, and so we're like Ms. Franklin said, we're turning that money back over into the parish with the fuel, the maintenance, and those things. We're doing that right back also.
And the staff costs, because the people that work for transportation, they are residents of St. Mary Parish. They are out.
Thank you.
Just one last comment from my conversations with the governor's office. I think this is going to require some significant advocacy, and this is where everybody can play a part, because until there's legislation that changes the reimbursement structure. For example, you talked about dialysis patients. When those patients arrive at that dialysis center is charging over $1,000 per day to our governmental system to provide that service. And they don't pay one dime back into the transportation service that most of these are indigent patients that rely upon these public amenities to get to that appointment. And so there needs to be a reformatting, a restructuring of that payment system. If it's $1,000 payment to the provider for that service, cut it down to $800 and shift $200 into the supportive services that the patient needs in order to access it. You know, until something like that happens, this is going to continue to spiral out of control. And I know we have a physician here that knows how that payment system works,
And it, you know, I mean, all of the benefit is on the provider side, unfortunately. And I say that as a provider, because I'm a partner in a private for-profit provider operation. But it does not benefit the patients as much as it benefits the provider. And that has to change.
I guess Reverend Matthews, Rules, just Jeff, and I'll just close by saying that with community action as it relates to other nonprofits, again, when you provide services that keep people alive, transportation, taking those people to get their chemotherapy and to get their dialysis services, they can't live without it.
Correct.
And so we just deem that to be so important, but we're not gonna stop fighting for the transportation services. But I guarantee you, if it cut down transportation or cut it out in St. Mary Parish, you're gonna have two people coming to this council asking you to get some type of transportation so that the people can continue to get the service.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you agree, Mr. Bell?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have under old business referred from the advisory budget finance meeting, November 12th, 2025. St. Mary Parish 4-H Shooting Sports has submitted their pre-application requesting funds for the program year 2025. Funding request $6,000. Action.
Money. No money, no action.
Madam Chair,
Reverend Matthews?
I did have a conversation with Councilman Hill earlier today in his absence, and he did ask me to share with the council his sentiments of being open to sharing that cost from the wards 5 and 8 portion of the 3/10% sales tax fund if there was a match, an equal match from the other wards. So, you know, that is up for consideration. I think it should be up for consideration and discussion. Right. We're talking about $3,000 from each ward, each division of the wards.
I think there was a problem with that, I want to say last year with like, Ms. Beverly's group, we couldn't do that for some reason
Because of the restrictions on 5 and 8, probably, right?
Right,
Yeah, you're right. It all depends on the specifications in the tax call.
right, and what the call for the tax was.
So that's not an allowable expenditure?
Fire and infrastructure type things is what the 5 and 8 is.
And recreation too.
And like Amelia's, all Amelia's goes to the rec center, but they do them things with it.
Oh, will it cover recreation?
It does cover recreation.
Why would that not fall under recreation?
I don't know.
Because basically it's gotta be for the people in that area. Like, if all the kids don't come from one area, you can't do it.
You can go outside of those wards.
$387,000 right now.
Gotta stay in within 5 and 8.
Fine. Accept that?
So it would be
You accept
servicing
that?
kids from that ward, 5 and 8.
If that's the only one it does. Was that his question, just for
Well,
5 and 8?
Well, you'd have to have half the kids from there. I guess you'd have to get the percentage of the children. I'd suggest we table this to the next meeting so we can get a little
I
further
think
information.
we ought to send a letter to the school board, or they should send a letter to the school board. That's where it's all
Yeah.
coming from the school, let them fund it.
I move that we table this to the next meeting.
Or that, or have them
I'll-
try
I'll-
and
I'll
get some
second that
donations.
motion.
We have a motion and a second. Okay.
Well, I missed the motion.
Not on the table.
You go table it.
Table it to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who made the motion in a second?
Bayer and Dr. Rink. To table this item until the January 14th meeting, 2026. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we're going to go back to 12A for adoption is an ordinance amending and reenacting ordinance number 2379, adopting the 2025 combined budgets of revenues and expenditures for the parish of St. Mary, state of Louisiana. What is your wishes?
I'm gonna make that motion. I guess it has to include a statement of
It has to
With
include
these
the
amendments?
minutes. Yes, yes, ma'am, that is
Yes.
correct.
I'll
Yeah, to
second that.
include the
With the
amendments
amendments.
presented to us.
Thank
I'll
you.
second that.
Okay, seconded by Reverend Matthews. Any discussion? Okay, now we're gonna have a roll call on item 12A. This is the adoption of the 2025 budgets with the amendments. Mr. Ina.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Olander.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hill, he's absent. Mr. Rolfe.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Abear.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Duhorn.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Rink.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Hidalgo.
Yes, ma'am.
And Reverend Matthews.
Yes, ma'am.
We have 10 yeas and 1 absence, and the ordinance carries. Thank you. Okay, now where we at?
On 13C.
We on 13C.
What
Okay.
about B?
We're tabled that already.
Okay.
13C is a resolution authorizing parish president to execute a contract with Fairbanks Scales Incorporated relative to the landfill scale replacement project at the Harold J. Babe Landry Landfill, SMPG project number 25-10-01.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move on 13C.
Second.
By Mr. Orlando, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. How long is this project gonna take?
It's supposed to take, I believe, about a month or so.
Okay.
Because it's an in-ground scale, so
Okay.
we've already removed the other one, and it has to be.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Morgan?
Thank you. This is on item 13C. Mr. Olander.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hill, he's absent. Mr. Rolfe.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Abear.
Ma'am.
Mr. Davis.
Ma'am.
Mr. Duhorn.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Rink.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Hidalgo.
Yes, ma'am.
Reverend Matthews.
ma'am.
And Mr. Ina.
Ma'am.
You have 10 yeas and 1 absent, and the resolution carries. Thank you. C. Now we're going to 14C. Old business is referred from the November 12th, 2025 regular council meeting. Appointments to the following boards and commissions. The Chaffalaya Golf Course Commission has 1 vacancy. Douglas Streety Jr. and Randy Bijou is the only ones I received.
Madam Chair, I'd like to table this until further notice.
I second it.
By Mr. Rolfe, second by Mr. Duhorn. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 15, business.
15A is informational. 15B. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Lisa.
Yes, ma'am.
I just got asked by Chief Clark to please make a comment that this says September 2024, and they were not delinquent on submitting their financials. They were on time, but the accountant did not submit the final paperwork to us. So they just wanted that on the record.
Not delinquencies,
It
just
was
the-
not a delinquency.
Okay.
It was just an error in submission
Okay,
from the accountant, from their auditor to us.
Got it.
And getting it to us.
thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Okay, B, 15B, this is discussion relative to the St. Mary Parish Council regular meetings, dates, times, and places for the year 2026. In front of you, you should have a copy of the dates of the meetings that I gave y'all. I don't know where mine's at. Okay, so let me just point out. Yes, just to point out a little information for y'all. Everything is great, January through October. November, we had to move up the 11th because of Veterans Day holiday. So we spoke with the administration, and I spoke with Mrs. Gwynn, just to make sure that, would y'all be okay with moving this up to the 4th, November the 4th is the first Wednesday. And then we're also moving November 18th, and then December the 9th is going to be the regular meeting, and we're moving up the other meeting, which will be December the 16th. But all of these meetings will be falling on Wednesdays this year.
Madam Clerk, the PGL meeting, do we use that one? up
We
to the
usually do,
Tuesday?
but this year it's not falling on any of our meetings. It's the
Really?
first
Oh.
week of March.
Well, that's awesome then. Thank you.
You have NACO though, that's the week before. Correct? Yeah,
Is that
legislative
the-
conference?
Is that the Washington DC?
Correct.
I only have one person going so far. So I don't normally rearrange that one unless for some reason we would have a lot of people out, but nobody else told me anything. So that I just took it off of that one, person. But it's y'all call, whatever y'all want to do.
Fine.
I so move we adopt these dates.
Second.
By Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Rolfe. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 15C.
This is Kevin Orderon, Laboratory Director, Acadiana Criminalistics Laboratory Rights at the annual commission meeting hosted by the Acadiana Crime Lab was held on Thursday, December the 4th, 2025. During the meeting, the 2026 proposed budget was approved by the commission members in attendance. The budget must be approved by at least a majority of the governing authorities of the parishes which the commission serves. So at this time, I would like to take a motion and a second to approve their budget.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yes, y'all have it.
Our representative tell us about it a little bit before we vote on something.
I do believe it was emailed to y'all. And, let's see. Should be up on is it up on the screen also, or no?
I don't think we have.
Madam
Make a
Chair,
motion, we table it to next meeting.
Madam Chair, I got a question about it. Have we ever made any payment remittance to this?
We paid our share of the crime lab construction. It's all paid, yeah.
Okay, good. Is that pretty recent that we did that?
As soon as we got the opioid money, we paid the last part of it.
Okay, because I know when I went to the ribbon cutting, we wasn't paid at that time.
It was probably right after. As soon as we got the opioid money, we paid the rest of it. The
Okay,
whole
perfect. Thank you.
$300,000, whatever it was, yeah.
That's like a number of things that we didn't expect to have in this last year's budget, and we've had to do it.
But it's paid.
It's paid.
Madam Chair, I make a motion, we table it to next meeting and send us a copy of the budget.
Second.
By Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Duhorn. Discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Items 15D.
Informational. E is the appointments to the following boards and commissions. Communications District's E911 Emergency Medical Services has one vacancy, and I've received an application from Brandy Leonard. It would be
Yes.
the Emergency Medical Services appointment. Yes, ma'am.
Motion by Dr. Rink, second by Mr. Davis. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item, Board of Adjustment, St. Mary Parish, one vacancy. John Booker Davis, present member,
Madam Chair, I'd like to move on Booker Davis.
by Mr. Olander.
Second.
Second by, I heard over here, Jay, Mr. Ina.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Did we receive a late applicant? Or phone call? Was it Board of Adjustments or Planning and
It was
Zoning?
planning and zoning.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mosquito Control, number 1, Sycamore Point, 2 vacancies. Got Vicky A. Frederick, present member.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move on Vicky Frederick.
Motion by Mr. Orlando, second by Dr. Rink. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then the second.
Next, we have St. Mary Parish Planning and Zoning Commission, one vacancy, Richard J. Tabor, Melissa Dordan, and I did receive a late applicant of the present board member, Mr. Glenn Pellerin. What is your wishes?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move on Richard Tabor.
Motion for, motion, Mr. Tabor. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Duhorn.
Madam
Any
Chair.
discussion? I'm sorry.
I'd like to offer an amended motion for Ms. Melissa Dart.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, and then we have an amended motion. So we're gonna vote on the amended, to do the amending, first of all. So does everyone understand what we're voting on? We're voting on amending the original motion to allow for Miss Melissa Dordan.
Question?
We already got the motion. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Discussion.
Oh, okay.
Discussion?
Yeah, it's at
Okay.
this time, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had conversation with Ms. Darden, but I think that she's a member of the tribal council, and I just think that for that particular board, it'd be good to have some diversity and a different perspective, be inclusive on that particular board. She brings a wealth of knowledge. She's overseen a lot of projects. Knows what she's doing, and I think we need some diversity. I think we should have perspectives from every community on the planning and zoning, so we can include everybody. I think diversity is good and what we need. That's the reason for my amended motion.
Mr. Orlando, what's your opinion on that?
I'm gonna still go with my guy. I had originally talked to him to put his name up. Melissa Darden was kind of a later brought it in. So, I do have another board, and I do plan on reaching out to Melissa Darden to see if she wants to be on this other board, because I do agree with what Jay says. But it's like, I had already spoken with Richard Tabor about, appointing him to this board.
Personally think Ms. Darden is qualified. I think we need to give
Well, I
her
didn't say she wasn't qualified.
qualified. We can do that now.
Board of Adjustments. There's a vacancy left, yeah.
Okay, so we have an I'm too loud now. We have an amended motion on the floor. We're gonna vote on that first of all. Does everyone understand what they're voting on?
We're voting on to amend the motion. First vote.
Ready? Okay. All right. Mr. Hill, he's absent. Mr. Rolfe.
Ma'am.
Mr. Abear.
No, ma'am.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Duhon.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, sir? Yes, sir. Okay. Mr. Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Rink.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Hidalgo. Reverend Matthews. Mr. Ina.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Olander.
No, ma'am.
Thank you. We have 7 yeas and 3 nays and 1 absent, and the amended motion passes.
Vote on Darden.
So we take the original,
The original motion
Motion.
fails, so now the motion that's on the table is for Melissa Darden.
that's still going to be
To be the-
Ina and Reverend Matthews with it. Okay. Do y'all want to just do an all in favor? Okay. Motion to appoint Melissa Darden to the Planning and Zoning Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, if there's no further business, I move that we adjourn.
Have a motion by Mr. Orlando.
Second.
Second by Mr. Adams. Any
Like, give me a
discussion?
bag.
All in favor?
Or 2 bags.
Aye.
I mean,
Motion carries.